didn't you?
Indeed. I
Okay,
try.
so so I had a string of failures with my older sets of Glocks. Uh, I think one CH plate failed and one SRO failed. Something else
Hmm.
broke on some other gun.
You had a screw that got seized in a slide, I think.
All right, so I wanted to ask you about the forward controls design plate,
Yep.
and then you can explain this other thing that broke or
All right.
messed up. So, all right, forward controls design plate. A lot of people were curious your thoughts on it because I hear a lot of very positive things about the right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. There's
Yep.
a lot of people have a very positive opinion of that one. Now, I think I have one or two guns now in hand that have that plate mounted. I have one gun with that plate mounted. The optic is staying in place, so I have no complaints.
Hmm.
However, you didn't like some stuff about that plate.
Yeah.
So
Well,
tell me what that
man,
was.
like I try to follow directions and stuff. I actually do look this stuff over. I'm not always a rule follower, but like if the stuff's labeled, I'm just gonna. Well, here I'll give you a contrast. I've got an Arise plate in front of me. I'm gonna pull this out.
Now
So,
you're a big humper for a rise.
well, I like this stuff because one, it doesn't fall apart. The hardware is actually solid and it's labeled. Let me give you an example. I don't know if this will turn out very well. Here is step one. This says thread pitch. It's got the thing, flathead, optic plate hardware. It says on the bottom, step one. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm going to use this to attach the optic or the plate to the gun. Makes sense to me. Now I have two more packets that came in here. This says optic hardware hyphen HoloSun, optic hardware hyphen SRO, XL, ST, CCW. Like, okay, cool. It has thread pitch here. It says what models it's for. It's for Glock or PDP. This is step two. I mean, this can't get any simpler or any better. Oh, and then I look at each of the bags. There's 3 screws in each of these, but I only need 2. Why does every single one of these have 3 screws? And here's the little bit I need to attach it also that came with the plate. Oh, I look in here. What else do I have? I've got a paint pen. This came with it. What else do I have? I've got Loctite. So I'm pumping up a rise in a way that now let me talk about my experience with the plate you gave me.
Okay.
So you give me a plate that comes in a little bag, and it's got like 4 screws in it, or no, it's got 6 screws. They're not labeled. They're in a little bag, and I've got to figure out like heads or tails of what this crap is. Maybe I go to their website. So I'm just gonna be real. So like I had a bad experience with CH, and the stuff's not labeled. And then like the end of the conversation was, well, did you watch the video on our website? I'm like, nope, sure didn't. I guess I'm the idiot. So anyway, this forward controls plate comes with a mixed bag of hardware. I look at the directions. I try to pay attention to it. Jay Brad's helping me out. We're like, okay, this is the one we think to attach the plate to the gun. Was like, yep, this looks right. Okay, like just tighten them down without putting any Loctite. Yep, this is good. We've got 2 different length of screws. One looks way too short. The other one looks right. Start to tighten down the longer ones. Well, then let me grab a plate. Then the plate starts to buckle on the slide, like it's coming upwards. It's like, okay, these screws are clearly too long because when I tighten down the plate, I can see like part of it start to rise up, like if that makes sense, like in the back. So it's no longer sitting flush. So I'm like, oh, okay, these screws are clearly too long. So look at the other ones. I'm like, man, these things look too short. Like the threads are barely engaging. Then, yeah, this is fun. So then,
Okay. You yeah. So you got me. So you'd say the Arise is like a Gucci option.
yeah, I mean, you pay a little bit more, but the plate's actually good. It actually, well, let me continue my story
Okay. Yes.
with the other plate. So reach out to a neutral party, Pro Shop Tim, and was like, hey man, like what's the story with this crap? It's like I'm not impressed. And if I had anything else with me, I would just use this. He messages the owner, which I'm not going to get in trouble for sharing this stuff. But it turns out, if you talk to the actual owner or somebody, customer service, whatever, they support what they consider to be duty grade optics. They don't consider HoloSun to be duty grade.
Well, they must
Therefore,
not have heard about the Ronin Tactics dot because that's about as duty grade as it gets.
therefore, the hardware it came with was not suited for HoloSun.
Okay. Yeah. So you just had to
That's the end
get
of the
different
story.
screws from
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah. So then we're like fishing through. Luckily, the packaging that comes with the Vortex Defender come with a bunch of different screws. The Hollow Sun comes with a bunch of different screws. So we just fished through the Hollow Sun box, and I think we found the right screws, and that was what ended up working, and that's what's on your gun.
Okay, so I checked the price. OPFG RMR plate from Forward Controls. I have it here for $72.50.
Okay.
Oh, Cerakote burnt bronze for an extra $10.
Neat.
I don't think you'd want that. All right. And on Arise's website, the Aegis 4 plate only can take a shroud. So the one that can take the shroud eventually, it's $109.
How much is the lowrider? That might not be on there yet because I might be holding prototypes.
That's the new one, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're 80 or 90.
Right, because I think they make them small. I mean, it's going to be more money.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you that sounds like a more quality product.
Dude, for like $20 or $30, the thing that's attaching your optic to your firearm, like, yeah, I'll pay an extra $40 if I need to get the right stuff.
Okay, showing all this lowrider. Oh yeah, the lowrider plate's $89.95. I found it on their site here. It's kind of worth it, right?
Yeah, for $10 or whatever to have all the hardware labeled. Like I said, it comes with a paint pen, which I think you should witness mark your screws anyway. So it comes with Loctite. The screws are labeled. It comes in a little bag. It's got a QR code on it, so you can scan that if you want directions.
Yeah,
but like I said,
they have a lowrider sticker like that. I like that logo.
They do. I can get you some.
Yes, I want that.
That was in the bag also.
I want that for my gun box.
So anyway, like, it's just annoying. I mean, being real, like, I don't want to have to fish through which hardware is which. If you get the screw that's too long or too short, it can cause problems. The plate also, like, when you set that plate on, it sits in there, but it kind of slides around. Like, this one I just pulled out of the bag, this lowrider plate. I'm not saying you have to like jump up and down, but I push on it a little bit and I can kind of feel it like snug. And then like I can hold the gun upside down with the plate on it and it's not falling off.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to do some infomercial stuff where I'm like, oh, well, I guess I am shaking it, and it finally came off.
You're doing the infomercial. You're all about this Arise stuff.
No. Remember the one where it's like the guy's climbing up on the ladder and he's like, oh, this is so, it's so stable or whatever, and then it folds in half. But anyway, like, just putting the plate on it and turning upside down, like, it stays on the gun. So I like that. The other part I haven't even put this one on yet, but this optic, if you set it on the little bosses, it'll normally require like just a light little push to kind of snug it up. You've had this, right, Ben? You've mounted a couple on your guns.
I found it being very easy.
So the plates, it's lined up now, and I'm actually having to push. Like, not a ton, but I had to push on the back and over the hood to seat it all the way down on the plate.
Okay, so what I'm understanding is your problem with the Forward Controls design plate is that it's not an Arise plate.
Yeah, I mean, it was too loose and the hardware wasn't labeled, so that's like, meh.
Like, not supporting Holosun optics is a fucking dumb decision.
Yeah, like, you don't get to decide what your customers want. Like, that's retarded. Real talk.
Yeah, it's not smart.
The first rule of being in business is give the customers what they want.
Yeah, people don't like how the pro shop's like agnostic about certain things. It's just like, no, just get the people the gear they want. It's not a good time to inject your opinion into everything.
Right. Like, yeah, I think your Sig Sauer is a timed hand grenade.
That's so like we're just not selling 320 holsters, buddy.
Correct.
We're not going to facilitate this.
I would never own that gun. Like, if you gave it to me, I would sell it. But that doesn't mean the pro shop should not support it. I mean, if people want the gear, you need to get gear that the people want. So, like, you can't just decide that you don't think it's due to your, like, boomer logic, it's not duty ready or something, and then just not support it. That's so dumb.
Yeah. I mean, not supporting Holosun optics is not, that is a weird decision. Because
it is.
As you know, we see a lot of that stuff.
Don't worry. He probably did something back in the day, like the owner. So he has real world experience from 20 years ago. And I'm completely I'm making fun.
Man, I don't know. Like slagging this guy.
I don't even know who this person is. He could be younger than us. But it's just like, it was just weird to me. So it made it like a 2-night ordeal that Jason and I had to mess around with, trying to like try different hardware and make it work, where it should have been like a 5 or 10 minute deal where you just look at the hardware off the package.
You saved $20 on that plate. It's worth it.
Hey, it was mine and Jason's time. What do you care?
I care because I have to hear about it. That's the most expensive time, is when Joel's doing something. It's like, oh, I'm never going to hear the end of this shit.
No. So anyway, like the CH has been the same deal. You had a couple of those that that sheared off. And the problem with those T-posts, well, so this one has these bosses which are built into the plate, the raised
Yes.
part. With the CH, those are holes. And so it's got those, I know you've never put these together before, but it's got this T-post on the other side that goes through with these little wings that go under the plate. And assuming that CH knows they're going to break, and that's why they're not part of the plate. But the problem on yours was those broke off, but the corner, like the little wing nut, stayed under the plate. So like
Yeah.
they know it's going to fail you. That's why it's replaceable.
I had one of the CH plates that like bent in the gun, it warped. I was like, ooh. So when I had that one I got out, I think no problem. I just changed it to an Arise plate. No problem since, of course.
Naturally.
All right. The other Glock that you're holding,
Yeah.
that one. So is that 66? Is that the
Yeah,
God?
it's not the 66 you got from me, but a different 66. I think this is an OG slick gun. I think.
I think it is one of the OG guns from that gun's like 7 years old.
Yeah. This was an OG, like originally military Glock training gun.
Okay, so what happened with that gun was that's the one that the SRO failed on. So it was on there forever. That thing, that gun and optic was on there forever.
Yes.
Until finally the SRO gave up the ghost, which it lasted so long. I'm not even really mad about it.
Dude, you had so many rounds of like gold dot, hot ammo, 115 plus P. Like it shot so much hot ammo.
Yeah,
and like the gun's still working, which is surprising.
Yes. But then it was like the screw was seized in there because the old CH screws, I think, were fine unless
I think
you
they were
wanted
better. Yeah, maybe unless you wanted to change it.
Unless you ever needed to remove them, then you were going to have a problem.
Mhm.
So the guy who built one of my rifles, the Alpine Research, I happened to be in New York, so he machined the screws out of there, which is great. He got them out. Had to use some heat, and he warped the plastic sleeve on the striker. And this is where you were handed the gun.
Yeah.
So
me being me, I'm like, hey, they ship these things with extra parts anyway. Let me just see what happens without the sleeve. And like, sure enough, the gun cocked fine. I'm like, let me just try it. Like, nah, we're having problems. Like, all right, never mind. I guess I have to figure out what this is. Couldn't find the part, so I just messaged your friend of mine, Tyler Turner. I'm like, hey, what is the name of this part and where do I get it? And sure enough, Tyler had a link to me in like 2 minutes. The other problem was this gun's been shot so much. It was working, but the extraction was very weird. So brass goes forward. Brass went like kind of over my shoulder. It kind of went straight up and then down, and it went out kind of far with like consistent ammo. So it's
as long as it's out of the gun, it's all good, right?
100%. No, it's still working, but it sketched me out a little bit just watching it. Because like the recoil spring's fine, it feels the same, but I just watched the pattern. It's kind of going every which way. So anyway, this gun got that new sleeve, a new extractor, because why not? And then that little safety plunger in the underside of the slide, that was super weird, and the spring under it was like smoked, and so I just bought a new one of those also. So you just got a little bit of new guts. I also brought a new striker because I thought I might need it, just because I didn't want to have to order more junk. It turns out I did not need that. So the original striker's still in it. Yeah, a little bit of parts, and we're good to go.
Well, can't be mad.
Dude, for as much ammo as like this thing has had through it and as much wear, it's actually pretty impressive. Especially hot ammo.
Yeah, the Glocks hold up pretty well to my knowledge.
They really do.
I have to give them that.
Yeah.
All right. Joel, thank you for the update. Throw this up
on
YouTube.